Diamonds are forever, but we both know that I'm not," he whispered to her just as evening prayers began at St. Mark's. Tiffany let go of his hand and turned to look in the dark waters of Regent's Canal, which ran past the old church, under the bridge on Prince Albert Road, and into Regent's Park. "I know, James, I've always known." She sighed and squared her shoulders. "I guess I'll go back to America." "I think it would be best, darling. I'll make all the arrangements. Thursday I have to go to Istanbul on a job, and maybe even St. Petersburg. Can you be ready to leave on Wednesday?" "Yes. Maybe you can send me some remembrance of you from Russia with love." She turned and smiled against the dying light of the early autumn sky. A diamond-bright tear quivered in the corner of her eye. She quickly wiped it away. "I don't believe in God, but somehow I feel like praying. Will you walk me to the door of the church?" "You don't need to pray for yourself." Rather than answer him, she took his hand again and walked with him to the entrance of St. Mark's. She turned to him on the steps. "My prayers won't be for myself. They'll be for you, my darling Mr. Bond." She smiled, brushed a lock of his hair away from his brow, then turned and disappeared into the sanctuary. He stood on the steps of the church for a few heartbeats. He didn't want to send Tiffany away, but he knew it was just no good. It hadn't been good since Royale Leou and the woman who had killed the last shred of humanity in him. He turned from the church and started to walk along Prince Albert Road toward his flat. Beneath the twilight twinkle of heartless stars that watched over London, he pushed the memories of that French town on the English Channel as deep into his soul as he could. He had no remorse, guilt, or moral compass when it came to killing a man or a woman. That's what made him perfect agent for Her Majesty's Secret Service. He was afraid of no one, except that single stiletto-sharp memory that haunted his dreams. Not every night, and not always remembered, but it was always near. There was no quantum of solace to be found in his dreams when her spectre arose to slash at his armor with half-remembered kisses and bloody sweet lies. In a weak romantic moment that night in the casino, he invented a martini and named it after her. These days, these nights, he never drank that bitter cocktail. Now it was just vodka, vermouth, shaken well, not stirred to distraction, which he would be if he didn't stop thinking of her. It nagged at the edges of his mind, the unmistakable fact that he was sending Tiffany away, as he would any woman who came too close. It would be just so with women until the day of his death. Because of the woman he met at the Casino Royale, he had to kill love, as surely as he would an enemy who threatened to expose him. But tonight she would not die twice. Bond turned toward the oncoming headlights on Prince Albert Road and flagged a cab. "Where to, sir?" the cabby said, bright as a penny. "Duke's Hotel." A quarter of an hour later, Bond was seated at the bar at Duke's. The barman and attendant smiled warmly. "Good evening, Mr. Bond. Will it be the usual?" "Not tonight, Alessandro. I need to kill a ghost. Put an end to, so to speak, to being the property of a lady." "Ah, I see. You haven't had one of those in quite a while. Let's see. 3 measures of Gordon, if I'm not mistaken, 1 of vodka, half a measure of quinolillet. Shake it very well until it's ice cold, then add a large thin slice of lemon peel. Have I got it?" "Got it." The lemon peel, like a sparkling golden eye, at the center of the cocktail, winked in the low light of the bar as Alessandro placed the drink on a crisp white napkin in front of Bond. He looked at it, and as Alessandro stepped away, he realized it was no use. She would never let him go. Before he lifted the glass to taste one last time her poison, he said her name very softly. Vesper. Good evening, this is Lanner Smith from Since Memory, and tonight I'm enjoying a Vesper cocktail in honor of both a wonderful fragrance by MikMoi and the opening of the new Bond film, Spectre, which opens tomorrow here in San Francisco, and I'll be seeing it on Saturday. I'm very excited to go. It'll be wonderful. So let's get into this great fragrance, but first, taste my Vesper. I don't need to give you the recipe since it was in my story. So, Vesper by MikMoi. This is a really beautiful fragrance. There is a sensuality to it that bleeds kind of into a reverent kind of prayer. It has a feeling of a kind of summer foggy night or fog over a field. It really is elegant, mysterious, and underneath it there's a subterranean river that runs and bleeds from the feeling of a beautiful French perfume into something very Zen, very Japanese. It's a most interesting fragrance. The fragrance opens with a beautiful kind of martini feeling, a taste that comes from the inclusion of the note of Lillet. Now, Lillet is a French aperitif wine, which can also be served in and used to make a Vesper. Really, it's a delicious, delicious drink. Now, that beautiful Lillet note is met by a very Eastern, very exotic fig note. Now, those two notes comprise the opening of the fragrance. Now, in the mid notes, we're introduced to a gorgeous Baccarat rose. Now, this rose has kind of origami-like leaves that open and reveal this incredible, beautiful, kind of masculine rose. It definitely is not a sweet rose. It's kind of bitter and dry, but very beautiful. And out from these beautiful petals, there emerge kind of tendrils, ribbons of suede. And this beautiful tendrils or ribbons of suede just give this fragrance a really smooth and elegant kind of feeling. It really, really is amazing, the blend of this beautiful suede and the beautiful rose. And also, now we move into the base notes of this particular fragrance. Now here we have what really makes a really interesting fragrance out of this, because like I said, it has this wonderful martini feeling in the beginning that sparkles and is very delicious, and then it moves into this sensuous blend of the East and the West with this beautiful rose and suede. And then in the base comes the mixture of myrrh, frankincense, and amber. It is just encompassing the feeling of something between a really exotic, perhaps Eastern church in Greece, a Greek Orthodox church, and the feeling of a Shinto temple. There's this wonderful blend throughout this fragrance of the East and the West, and it just is really a most interesting and unusual fragrance in my book. Now, the bottle is really beautiful. It's made in Italy. Mick went to great expense and great care to pick a beautiful, beautiful bottle. And it says MikMoi here at the top. You can barely see that. But the name of the perfume is in the bottom of the bottle, and I think I've showed that to you before. You can't see it here, but it's written right across the bottom. So when you look in this way, you can see that it says Vesper. It was inspired by the cocktail and by the woman, but also by the prayers. So there we have my take on a really beautiful fragrance by MikMoi that was introduced a few years ago. And I say that it's something that you can wear at formal occasions in the evening, but it wouldn't hurt to wear it in a sporty occasion too, in the day and the office. It really transcends day to night. It's something that can carry you from day to night really, really well. So there you have my take on this beautiful fragrance. And I hope you'll give it a chance, give it a try, and see what you think. So this is Leonard Smith from Sense Memory saying, remember, wear what you love and not what they say you should like. And I'll talk to you later. Cheers.